So, but she has a question, and I think I already accused you that she runs the show. So,
Yes.
what is it that you want to ask Elizabeth? She says, I would like to understand, can I understand the phases of the moon? How do I use the moon to manifest what I want to create in my life? And which phase of the moon is your favorite and why? Does that
Oh,
cover that? Okay, there she goes.
okay.
So I said she runs this. So go ahead.
Okay, well, Fela. So we have 8 phases of the moon. There are 4 primary and 4 secondary. The primary ones are the new moon, first quarter,
Mhm.
full moon, and last quarter. And those phases last for just an instant and move into the next phase. But they are the earmarks of where we turn the corner in our phases. And if you're looking up at the moon, the
Okay.
from the new moon, the moon you'd almost see no moon. Like
So I'm going to
the
get a picture of that up. So we want me to show a new moon, or I'll
Yeah,
I'll show
new
the
moon
phases of the
is,
moon.
and a new moon, and it's so we the amount of light that we see with of the moon is in direct relationship to where the Earth and the sun are in to the moon, and how much light is reflected from those two things onto the moon. And so the new moon, they're all in direct line, so we see almost nothing. Sometimes just a little rim, and that's a momentary. And but the new moon is when you set your intentions. When and by intentions I mean like what do I want to I always say, where am I going to find the magic this month? What magic am I
Mm,
going to discover this month? Now, I'm in a process of healing. So here's an example. So this month has been a month of healing for me. So my goals this month have been not so lofty like maybe career-wise, but these are more to be just I'm happy and healthy and I'm allowing my body the time to heal. So I'll say that every day. This new moon was in the sign of Aquarius. Aquarius is all about our community and about the collective. So I've been trying to find ways of being a better community member or a better caregiver by helping my mother, my husband. So I'm caregiving without ego this month. So I'll say things like that. It could also be like I'm enjoying driving my brand new red car. So you could even ask for that much, but you need to also put it in ways as if it's already happening. That's your best bet. Or I intend.
right. So what I learned is when we are manifesting, we manifest as it exists already in the in our current
Right.
reality.
Like I'm so if I'm trying to lose weight, it's I feel so great that I'm taking care of myself and watching and cutting back on my calories and seeing how good that makes me feel. So like you're already doing it.
Right. I found a better image.
Oh,
So
yes. So there's new moon. And then we quickly go into our waxing crescent and so you can see from the pictures so the we're going to start seeing the bits of the moon building from right to left. So
okay.
right. So if you looked up at the moon and you saw that there was light starting from the right, that's our waxing crescent. In my show for the new moon, I use Olivia Newton-John's "You Have to Believe We Are
Oh,
Magic." So that's all this magic. Like we're gonna take this
her voice
ride.
is amazing.
Oh, you're sweet.
I'm like, Jody, you can't sing with her because you'll
You can
ruin it for
always sing.
everybody else.
I enjoy the sounds of every voices. And
So
then
the
my moon.
woman I introduced you to, Michelle Froge, who's the rock star coach, she belts out like it's nobody's business. And she was on stage Friday night. My husband and I went to go see her, and there was an energy that the vibration that made me think of you.
Yeah, I saw I did see, I watched a little bit of the video and I was like, oh, I can see why I would remind you of her.
Yeah, I mean, that video didn't come out very well, and it didn't really even capture much, quite frankly. It didn't capture the essence of who she is. But like, I'm like, I don't know how these two are supposed to work together, but there's something,
Isn't it
you
interesting?
know.
Isn't it interesting?
So, but anyway,
So
so
then and then we move into our waxing crescent, the famous crescent moon, and it's on the
mhm,
right. No, but all most of the crescent moons that we see, like in folklore or art, are almost always the waning crescent, which is on the other side because it's where they draw it on the left to have somebody sitting on it or whatever. But waxing crescent is this building phase where I use the title of my show, Moon Dance.
okay,
Coincidentally, I originally called my show Moon Magic, but when I did it at Paper Mill Playhouse last year here, they changed my title and kind of didn't talk to me about it. And I was like, well, why you changed my title? And they just thought they just picked one of the songs from that they didn't know. And I thought, well, if I'm going to try to keep my ego in check and think, okay, like, so why did they change my time? I thought maybe it's a happy accidents. So I now say that we're going to do this dance with the moon. And it also helped with some of the marketing things because I do sing this next song, which is Van Morrison's Moon Dance. And that's when you're
So
going to
sing
kind
a
of,
little bit of that for us, if
well,
you
it's
don't.
a marvelous night for a moon dance with the stars up above in your eyes. Almost like this. So we're picking up the tempo now. Like, okay, what do I want this month? What juicy bits of life can I choose? And that's this feel of moon dance. And that's our waxing crescent. And then we go into our first quarter, which is our first half moon. So the one half of the moon is lit up from the right, and that's at one of those primary phases that only lasts a minute. And in my show, I combined
Can I ask a
somewhere.
question about
Yes.
that? Okay, so you said only lasts about a minute.
Oh, an instant. Well, because remember that the moon, all of these things are always moving. The moon rotates around the earth and the earth rotates around the sun. So
Okay.
we've got constant movement. So nothing ever stops. We don't ever go, new moon. We go,
Right.
new moon, waxing
Right, the
crescent.
nanosecond, and so what we're feeling sometimes, and, we'll come right back, I'll just skip for, like, when there's a full moon, there's, like, I know I've known for all my life that a lot of women give birth on a full moon because the full moon, as I understood it, and please correct me if I'm wrong, controls the water, and so the water bursts. But what I'm kind of understanding from what you're sharing is that that energy's building up as
Yes.
we approach these phases.
Right. And especially
Okay.
this waxing phase from new moon to full moon, we're going to wax, which means to grow. So you're going to grow your intentions. You're going to grow your energy. What are the magical things you'd like to welcome into your life this month? And those are going to grow for these days up until the full moon. And the full moon is mid-cycle. And actually, the moon rotates around the earth in a cycle of 29 and a half days, not 30, 29 and a half. But for our purposes, we
Yeah.
always say 30. That's why some months have 31, because it's really not even. So the primary phases only last an instant, and then they go into to a secondary phase and an intermediate phase, and those last for almost 2 weeks, for a week
Oh,
and then a week. So we have a week of waxing crescent, and then we go to the first quarter, this half moon, and then we go into the waxing gibbous, and the gibbous, Gibbous.
which is where we are today.
Yeah, we're in a waxing gibbous because we have a full moon this weekend. Good for you. Good for you. And gibbous means more than a semicircle, but not quite full, or
Okay.
having a hump. So you're over the hump, you're almost to the full moon. And in my show, Waxing Gibbous is I Put a Spell on You. That's the song, I Put a Spell on You. And it was one of the things that I thought, oh God, am I going to get away with this? Because that's when so Waxing Gibbous is when you're really ramping up your intentions. And meanwhile, I'm saying these every day. I'm taking just a moment for myself and I'm saying
Wow.
them. And I'm saying them in verbiage as if they're already happening.
So you know what? That's brilliant. That's brilliant because I had many intentions, but I have a certain intention, and I'm not going to go into it on the show, but a certain intention that I know that I needed to wrap up. And today, I just found out it was a waxing gibbous. I really didn't know what it meant, and I'm like making that happen. Like I'm like putting it all into place, and I'm like almost nanosecond by nanosecond, right?
Right. And so, it encourages you. So say, I don't know, like if I'm saying I'm enjoying having a full-time job that utilizes all the things that I think are special about me. Okay, so I might be unemployed. But so what actions can I take during this waxing phase to take the steps? Because you got to take steps too. It can't all just be in your head. And as I said, I say it out loud, and it's just a few minutes of a moment. I say these things. I say I welcome transformation, I welcome growth, I welcome abundance. I know what I need and I am ready. That's what I say, and then I list my things.
Mhm.
And then on the night before the full moon, I take that list of things that I have said, all because I write them down,
Me
and
too.
I add the element of fire to it, and I light my list, and I light it outside right before the moon is full, because our full moon is when we're going to release, but the moment before the full moon is like when all these attentions are bubbling up, and then you let them go, and then you're like, okay, universe, They're yours.
Well, I call that burning letters.
Right. So I burn my letters.
But I used to use but I never did it in conjunction
Well,
with the full moon.
try it with your moons now. And as I said, so you have 2 weeks to ask for what you want.
Mhm.
Ask yourself what you want. And I've also learned that the more I say it, the more I verbalize it, the more I streamline the things I want, because I'm having to actually verbalize them. So sometimes I'm like, ooh, why are you tripping over those words? Do you really want this thing? And
So
then
you're saying you're tripping over the words. What does that mean? That
sometimes like they don't come out of my mouth. Like when I'm saying them, they don't come out clearly. I'm like, oh, what's that
because there's
about?
a block.
A block. Right.
Right.
So
There's
like
a block. There's an energetic block or a frequency that needs to be removed in order for you to manifest.
be able to
what you
say
want
it. Right. So
to
it's like it's like something's not ringing true because like it's not happening, right? So then we have our full moon, and full moon, I mean, statistically, there is no statistical evidence that there is more crime or babies born, but any ER doctor will tell you that there are.
Right.
And so the full moon has this duality of really of taking all the your the things you're asking for and sending them out and then releasing them, and then this whole next 2 weeks becomes our waning phase. We quickly go into waning gibbous.
Okay, let's take a look at that. So
Now
is
we're going to
here.
start losing our light from the right side. So we're only going to be left up on the left side after our full moon. And these are our waning phases. And the theory on this is that in order to welcome some things in, you got to make some space. So what can you let go? And this is this is the hard phase. I mean, I'm much better just energetically in knowing what I want and what I'm trying to get, but I've learned throughout the years that the waning phase is the key for me to make
funny that you
space.
say that, because so I'm my astrologer, Tinkerbell. What is it you want to say, honey? Can you hold on 1 second for that, and then we'll. Okay, hold on. Let me just hear what she has to say. I'm doing it. Okay. My astrologer says that I'm a purger.